I was
earthquake.
saying, have you picked up a hobby or something? All this free time, what have you been up to with all this time not watching sports?
I've just been watching other sports. I've been watching, trying to catch up on some old sports. I mean, it's obviously time to catch up on movies and some other stuff like
Mm,
that. But the other day, it's like this is I know it's in the dead period for live sports, but NBA TV right now, they're kind of doing like the Hardwood Classic run right
yeah,
now. It's a tongue twister, but so they've had like old time. They just did a whole run of like the Celtics Lakers finals games. This morning they had Isaiah Thomas was playing. I think they were playing the Nuggets. It was like Dan Issel, one of those like Dan Issel Nuggets teams. So I mean, there are
yeah,
some ways to satisfy some of the sports cravings, but outside of that, no, it's been pretty bleak.
yeah. And I mean, some of the sports are starting up again. We have some soccer, or as they call it across the pond, football, starting up with La Liga,
Football.
having a couple of games. Shout out to Kylian Mbappe winning a trophy and scoring on his first debut. Some other soccer stuff, but we can start off with the most interesting thing, the most notable thing, and I don't know if you already talked about this, Rem, on Tuesday's pod, probably. Curry going crazy, bringing home the gold, and some people saying it's the greatest Olympic game of all time. I don't know, definitely one of the best, in my opinion, from the
They're saying that about the
century.
one
You
versus
know,
France. Wait, what are they saying about the game or his performance?
his performance, just how well he played. I don't know. It was up there.
The
It
best
was up there,
Olympic
Reb. Just the
basketball performance?
way.
Well, let's not forget about the Oscar Schmitz.
Yeah, no, that's why you can't quite say he's the top. But in terms of recent memory, it definitely has to be up there, for a gold medal match. Just what Curry did, and just shutting down the place with his shots, because it was still kind of a
That's
close
true.
game.
If you consider the fact that it's a gold medal match, because wait, did we figure out if Oscar Schmidt ever won a gold medal? I mean, he definitely
I
medaled.
don't
I don't
think
remember
he
if he ever won a
did. Yeah, I don't
gold.
think he won a gold.
And he put up a couple of 40-point performances, but I don't remember exactly what round those were in either. So, the fact that Curry had the better team, I don't know. Oscar Smith's the man when it comes to Olympic basketball. But I get it when we're talking about, especially the significance of the game too, because I heard shout out Jason Concepcion from the Six Trophies podcast, but he made
Shout out.
what I thought was an interesting point about this game. But he was saying that this might be a game that we look back on as something that's very pivotal in the continued influential, like the international growth of the game, because there's a lot of
Mm,
people, there's just a lot more eyeballs in the Olympics. And I know basketball's already growing as an international sport, but the amount
yeah.
of eyeballs that were on this team already. And I mean, we've already seen when people watch Steph Curry in America, we've seen what that does to the kids and what that does to the rest of the populace. Just the magnetic force that he has and how relatable his game is and how those things can just translate to the general people. Like that whole world really got to see that on display in this game. And
Mm.
as Steph has already impacted the game in America, like that growth is just going to continue to be influential and overseas as well too. So I guess you put all the legacy stuff that's potentially on the table here with this gold medal game. I mean, you definitely have a case.
I mean, is this the last Olympics or last Olympic run that America, you know, will be considered the dominant favorite, or dominantly win, or it'll be like no doubt America will win, because it definitely, with like one layup away from South Sudan beating them, and again, mind you, they did finish undefeated, they did the job, they got their gold, but you can definitely see the growth from the world, from everywhere else, and just France hanging around. Like they didn't have
Mm-hmm.
good guards. They didn't really they didn't really have like Wembanyama obviously isn't in close to his prime. Like, they don't have like that one superstar like Jokic, who, by the way, almost beat him as well, almost beat America as well. And but they were still hanging around. They just kept hanging around in that game. And who knows? France is a really young team. Koulibaly Obviously, Wemby. Like, there's some young pieces. Shout out to Yabusele, just having his probably the best game ever for him of his career. I mean, I think people talking about
Yeah.
maybe he can come back to the league. Like that's easily his best game of his career. So I just think that this, like you mentioned, this Olympics not only showed the growth of the international game, but also I feel like it woke up Americans and people in general a bit that, this isn't 1992 anymore. Like, we're no longer
Hmm.
a superpower and there's four other NBA players on every other team. Like, the world is here and it's not going anywhere.
Well, a couple of things there too, but with the Wemby not being in his prime part for France, like a sneaky little thing is like, yeah, like LeBron and Durant and Steph aren't necessarily in their primes either. So as we continue,
Yeah.
this team in the future may not have players as great as LeBron and Steph and KD, and they also all played basically like they were in their prime, so maybe it doesn't matter. But they will have more guys at the peaks of their powers playing on the team, hopefully in the future. But also to the Jokic part, like you're saying, I don't know. Jokic might be the greatest international player of all time. I mean, it's basically what him
We
and
just talked about Oscar Schmidt. Like, what's
well,
going
I'm
on?
just saying, like in terms of the NBA legacy part of it.
Yeah.
If you throw that in there, like it's him and Dirk, the run that Dirk had. It's hard to say
Mhm.
which one's better between him and Jokic, and then Hakeem won the
Well,
back-to-back titles in Houston. Is probably still the number
yeah.
one, but just in terms of Olympic basketball, Jokic is probably the best, outside of Oscar Schmidt, the best Olympic player that they've ever had to go against. So maybe the rest of the world is getting better and catching up, but also on the other hand, they might not have, Wemby is also looming too, but Jokic is just an all-time great player and it's going to be hard. And there's only going to be one or two of those guys every generation that you're going to have to worry about. So I don't think Jokic specific. Like Jokic is too great to say that just because Jokic almost beat him, the rest of the world is catching up. Like he's kind of an exception.
Well, he's kind of an exception, but the main point of that game is Jokic didn't drop 50 in that game. And
No, but he
he
does.
did get a
He's
lot of
just
assists. He is an all-time great player, I'll give you that, obviously. But I do think his general team also took him also to that point, of being close to win. He did find passes, he did make it happen, and which is why they were up on USA. But the general team around him there was competency. They were, it just shows, like we talked about, the razor thin margins between being an NBA player, being a G League player, and being out the league. It doesn't seem like much, but to
yeah. But
see
what Jokic
how
does to raise the floor of average guys
yeah,
is
you're
what I'm saying.
right.
That's different than what other international players are going to bring to the game.
Yeah, but France was close. South Sudan almost beat them, and Canada was like
Well,
knocking
JT
on the
Thor.
door to beat them. Like, it wasn't. Yeah, yeah. That's the point. That's the point. Is that the difference between being an NBA player, G League, and overseas is so much closer than it ever has been. So,
Yeah.
that South Sudan almost beat this team that's serious. I mean, that's like, for that to happen. It doesn't matter how much the chemistry was, how much they played. Like, you got LeBron, Curry, and KD, and they may not be in their primes, but those are like top 15 players of all time. And you have a South Sudan team, the team that, the youngest basketball team. They don't have an indoor gym. Literally Luol Deng is fundraising this whole team.
He's just
And
paying for
yet,
everything.
shout out the Lakers for helping that, because they gave Luol Deng that
I know.
contract.
When I
But
saw that, I was like, well, at least that might be the best overpay in NBA history, just to give
I know.
Luol Deng all this money. What did Chandler Parsons
But
do with his
yeah.
paycheck? Who did he help out?
Who knows? But that should all point to, just the talent that's up in the league. Now, of course, USA is going to be the favorite. And my point is never that USA would be like not the favorite next Olympics. But it's a whole lot closer than it's ever been. Like, this is starting to become more and more like the soccer World Cup, where we know the most talented teams, France, Argentina. We know the teams with the greatest players with all these talent. But that doesn't mean that there isn't like a Japan that can come in and knock a couple teams out. There isn't like a Cinderella run that can happen. It's no longer like, oh, we should be winning by 50. Like, that's no longer how it should be. And I think this Olympics really showed people how close it is that you have Yabusele, taking it to this team. And, Yabusele, obviously no NBA team is calling him to be their number one option. I'm not, we're not going overboard, but it's just showing the talent around the world. In my opinion, it's not so much that the talent was never there when you look at Arvydas Sabonis, when you look at all these other players, but there's the structure for them to develop that talent and to be good to reach these points where you can have a collection of team and be great. And so that's why you have great situations like Luol Deng, where he took all his money and time and coaching and took it back to his country to develop an actual program. Or you look at France, they're like putting kids into pro as soon as possible. And now we're seeing drafts where, the first 3 out of 10 players are all French. They're French. They can't, NBA teams can't get enough of the French. And then you have Germany winning the World Cup over, a decent American team. So just the structure and being able to have, know the game better and the growth of the game was clearly on display this Olympics. And and with the issues that we have with AAU, I'm really concerned about the future of teen basketball here in America.
Well, I don't know. I think you might have to look at it the other way and be a little more optimistic, because one of the things I did talk about Tuesday was going through some of the top names of the high school guys on the horizon for Team USA, because the most notable number one is your guy, Cooper Flagg. Like, we could be building this team around Cooper Flagg in a couple years. We have him. We've got Ace Bailey is also in this class, who is one of those guys. I think that could be a really, like, Cooper Flagg is probably just going to be the number one pick, but that could be a really strong one too. We got Dylan Harper again this year. We've got the Boozer twins. We've got, and the number one, whoever the better of the Boozer twin is, he's not even the number one player in his recruiting class. He's the number 2 player. And there's another guy, like, his name's like AJ Dembasta or something like that. That is,
yeah, AJ Dembasta.
AJ Dembasta. Yeah. That is also a really highly talented guy too. So there is a bunch of young names to get excited about. And, there's going to be other guys that we're sleeping on right now in these high school rankings that are going to grow their stock and continue to rise and become all-star and all NBA level players too. But just amongst the top guys that are kind of breaking into the mainstream basketball fandom for guys like me that don't follow high school basketball as closely, those are guys to get really excited about. And I think the narrative that America, because it's, yes, international basketball is on the rise and it's growing, but there is, like you're saying, also that narrative that America is slipping behind, and there may definitely be problems with AAU. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't mean that we don't have talented kids on the horizon. And once they get into the NBA, and yeah, the system with them getting to the NBA, maybe they get to the NBA less talented, but once they're in the NBA, and maybe, the 2018 too, maybe this is a 32 team point, but I do think that the future of American basketball is in good hands. I really like some of these names on the top of these recruiting lists in high school right now.
Yeah, we have too many people in America and too many people playing basketball for no talent to be there. Like, there's gonna be talent, and I definitely think that that'll continue. The problem
I'm saying, like, the main talent, like Cooper Flagg is a guy.
Yeah, no, there is generational talent. The problem is that talent being trained to play together, and that, obviously goes to the AAU, but also another part of AAU is injuries. That's a whole nother, discussion when you see NBA players and how many the top level players who've been the number one option since they could barely walk. When you see that buildup of injuries, and then they come to the league and they're dealing with all this, heavier pressure than they ever have before. That's why you're seeing, the stars being hurt more than often. But my main concern is with all these, trainers, NBA trainers, putting in the time and, using those, whatever those sticks are with the pads, and you're trying to hit it. Just such an emphasis on individual scoring and individual stats, which is needed in high school to even be considered for any of these good college spots, good college situations. Then it's the concern of how, so when they get to the pros, they're just supposed to suddenly mesh. And that's only for the top 0.00001. For most of these guys, they're going to have to learn to sit in the corner and shoot threes. They're going to have to learn how to, really hustle on defense and maybe get the ball like 5 times in a game. and that's the reality. And to go from you're the number one guy in high school, maybe you're coming off the bench or you're, one of the contributors in college to now, barely seeing the ball in the pros. That's where you start to see the other players from overseas who are used to that. When you look at players like even Luka Doncic, I'd argue Doncic was the exact opposite of his development, where he went to Real Madrid and he had to be like one of the contributors, and then he became the number one option within that and became something really special.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why NBA teams like these other players from the French pro leagues, because maybe they're not as super talented as some of the top prospects here in America, but they know they can fit into the team setting. And even if they don't develop to be a star, they'll be fine being a 3-and-D player in the corner.
Well, this is why we should really love Bronny, because he's had plenty of experience developing, not being the star player. But I do think that maybe the way that the conversation about basketball is so open now, and just the conversation about legacy too is important for these guys, that maybe there is a little bit of focus on getting back into team basketball. And we're just seeing some of the guys that do that are, they do become popular and do have their moment away. Like Josh Hart and DiVincenzo on the Knicks really had a moment this year, and both were, got paid, but both had a moment in that Knicks run where they were like hustling. And we saw Devin Booker really do that for this Team USA as a star player who was like, hey, I'm willing to kind of do the small things and succeed in this role. And now people that really were paying attention to Devin Booker and watching the Team USA were able to be like, no, Devin Booker was one of the most important guys. Like, there's no way we don't win the medal without Devin Booker.
Exactly.
He has his moment. I mean, that's got to be the biggest moment of his career. And then I guess he was in NBA Finals, but just in terms of the dialogue about Devin Booker, it really helps the conversation around him. So I do wonder if the teamwork basketball, at least in moments like this, can, if we're just talking about like, can guys work together on Team USA? And the thing is, a lot of these kids do play together as well too on Team USA in these younger tournaments now too, with the development of all the under 19s and 18s. Like the Boozer twins are putting up great numbers they're winning gold medals for Team USA already. So why wouldn't they keep doing it in the future? They're beating the international guys that they're going to be going up against in the future. They're beating them right now for the gold medals in the under 19s. We're going to be fine.
I'm not saying we're losing. We're going to be losing, championship or golds and stuff, but it is going to be a lot closer than it's ever been before. And yeah, I mean, I think something that's interesting is that usually American youth sports, like, it allows for the development to be pretty quick. It allows, I think, players to develop sooner than other areas, but it's whether it's like, I don't know how to put it, like more equitable growth. I mean, you just see like the skills that are developed by playing different sports, by playing other stuff than just that singular sport. While like in America, sports specialization is huge. You just play your one sport over and over and over and over. So I don't know. That's a whole nother argument for another time.
And the funny thing is too, when a lot of athletes get later in their careers, a lot of times when they mix up their training regimens, I remember Melo did this later in his career. They'll add another sport into their training regimen. I remember like some guys will be like Reggie Miller really loves cycling. Bill Walton loves cycling too. I don't know if they loved those while they were playing, but like Carmelo Anthony really got into boxing because he was like, he wanted to improve his hand speed. So maybe it's not even like the intentional thing of, I guess, it is intentional, but like you're saying, when you're younger, making that a focus of, oh no, it is beneficial to be playing all these sports instead of being like, oh, let's just make, like you're saying, specialize in the one thing. And then when you get into the area, like maybe into college and into the later, more high stakes stuff is when you actually get into specializing. But it's funny that sometimes they'll even go back to that later and just start adding in the other sports at the end of their careers.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, you look at Hakeem, known as a soccer player and stuff. So I don't know.
Embiid?
This is one of those. Embiid. Now, if he could just stop flopping like he's playing soccer. Jeez.
He took the wrong things from soccer.
I'm dead. Shout out Colin Hugh. Who's
Led high school last year in 3-pointers made, 3-point percentage. Oh, he's a junior. Dropped 56 in an adult league.
Whoa.
Man, he was hitting 13 threes, 62% from behind the three-point line. Man, this
I
looks
mean, we were
serious.
just talking about this before we started recording about when you just these high level guys pull up to these parks. We were talking about the school that we used to attend, which is like junior college Division II, and you watch one of those guys just shoot and it's 10 15 in a row. It's not, they're not even thinking about it. And you get this you say something like, oh, a D1 kid pulls up to a men's league, but it's like, yeah, a D1 kid goes into an LA Fitness, and now those are good runs. He's gonna destroy all those guys.
He is. No, that's it. They're cooked. They're cooked.
What's the highest?
It's
what's the
tough.
highest level of frisbee player you've ever played against? Have you've been on the field with some national team guys, right?
Yeah, I played against pro players. I don't know about national team.
Oh, okay.
Not team USA. I've been with like maybe some team invites.
Yeah, some
USA
camp
team
guys.
invites.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe some international players. They've been on other countries' national teams. But yeah, never actual national team players.
But I mean, an
But you can
invite
tell.
player is like a Jalen Brunson got the invite and didn't make the team.
Exactly. Like you can tell. It wasn't like, oh, you just happened to be like, I could tell. You can, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like, you don't even have to
what's
say anything too.
up?
If he just pulls up and starts playing, it's
Yeah.
I mean, just
You
the
can tell, yeah, just a touch.
explosiveness.
Yeah, it's just the touch, the feel, the vision. There was one guy I played like half court frisbee with, and I'm pretty sure he was on some nationals team or something. You can just tell the athleticism, the length, and honestly, it's similar. And this goes a little bit back to D1 and just the expectation of how good you're supposed to play and others are supposed to play. Just the high standards. And so that's why when you talk to like international players for basketball and stuff, and they're shooting like that, they're like, this is just normal. This is what it's supposed to be, because that's the expectation. And then they're mad when it doesn't work. So,
And then they'll throw down a dunk so easy that it's like, is dunking even an athletic thing to do? Am I just unathletic? Like, I think, I can run around and move, but just how easy it looks, I should be able to just jump right up there, put it in, no problem.
Exactly.
Pause, but somehow I can't
and then
do
you
it.
Remember, like this person's like what percent of people,
Yeah.
Elite athlete. Like,
wait, what was his name? Colin Hugh?
Colin Hugh.
So is he class of 2026?
I'd say. I mean, he's going to his senior year. So, yeah.
Oh, so he might be this year. I'm taking a quick scroll of the 24/7. I mean, he can still be an elite kid.
Year of college, right?
Yeah. And he can still be an elite player and not be in the top 100.
Yeah, I guess he could be the number one shooter in the nation and not be in the top like 10 or something.
Are we the first people to buy Colin Hughes stock?
Hey, if you can shoot.
Are you watching his highlights right now?
For you. No, I'm not.
Oh, I didn't know if you were gonna have like a player comparison vibe.
A breakdown.
Yeah, a quick scouting report. I don't see him on this list.
It's crazy.
Not the baseball player?
Have you started to look at 2028 Team USA teams?
Of course. Like I said, one of the reasons that I was going through the high school guys was to see had in the pipeline for potential prospects to be on that team, because like I was saying, I think those are good players too. And I know a lot of the guys are being slated to just be right back in there. But I mean, Cooper Flagg's got to take somebody's spot. Like if it's between Derek White and Cooper Flagg in 2028, who are we really sending?
I mean, you're right. I mean, I don't think Derek White is going to be good enough to be on
Cooper Flagg's another one of those guys too that I think he has the role player stock type. He's got the fit in mentality. He doesn't necessarily, he'll just take over a game because he is he's just the best player and people let him do it, but he doesn't necessarily need to assert himself right away and like get his shots up and do all that.
Some names being thrown out. Paolo.
Of course.
Cade Cunningham. Kate Cunningham.
I can see it.
Chet Holmgren was almost on this team. I think people were saying if Embiid had gone to France or Cameroon, which he's mentioned maybe Cameroon. I don't know. Chet Holmgren, he would have been,
Can I give you a sleeper
over Jaren
center
Jackson Jr.? I don't
that I
know.
was thrown out
Was it?
on the Tuesday show? And yeah, Jaren Jackson was another one that I saw being floated out there, but don't sleep on Derek Lively in 4 years to be on this team for the center, because it's not like we have a
What?
deep stash of center guys for Team USA.
Well, he can't shoot though, but
if we need just some shot blocking, some guys that
something,
hustle,
running.
set some picks. I'm just
He
saying Derek
definitely could
Lively
be on
4
a
years from
FIBA
now.
team. He definitely could be on a FIBA team.
Is he Miles Turner?
Yeah.
I like
No,
Ace
I can
Bailey
see that.
too. I'm buying up Ace Bailey stock.
Okay. I've
Put
heard
him on the
good
team.
things.
And honestly, Cade, who's the number one? Yeah, Cam Boozer. Put Cam Boozer on this team. Just put all the new guys on this team. Send our high school guys.
Oh my gosh. Just put it in the under 20 team for the
Yeah,
FIBA
let's
team.
do it.
You know, we're not trying to win it anyways. Like, that'd be crazy if they won.
Could Zion be on this team in 28?
Oh yeah, I didn't see him on that list. Let me see.
The other guy that I'm not
Jason
seeing.
Tatum,
The other
Derek
guy that I'm
White.
not seeing.
They have Derek White again. Oh my gosh.
There's another guy that I think is being left out a little bit too, that I think is going to be right up at the top of the list when we get to 2028, is Tyrese Maxey.
He's someone I think could make it. Yeah, he would be like that Derek White, like
Derek White.
Just really shifting.
I think
yeah,
Tyrese
like
Maxey could be like our,
internationally.
not Steph Curry, but our lead guard.
Yeah, he'd be the lead guard. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Lead the team in scoring.
Also, shout out Tatum, third player along with LeBron and MJ to be first team make all NBA first team, win a title, win a gold medal on the same year.
Whoa. Jordan never did it.
Jordan did. Yeah, Jordan.
Jordan did do it?
LeBron. Jordan and LeBron, yeah.
Oh,
Only other players. Yeah.
And the thing about Cam Boozer too, and like Cooper Flag, is those are like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
Good size team. And Tatum will be right back in the mix in 2028. Anthony Edwards.
Definitely.
So between what? Tatum, Paolo.
They're saying he's leading the one.
Edwards, Cam Boozer.
Yeah, and Paolo's had that Team USA experience. Wasn't he in
He was on FIBA.
Yeah, he was on the FIBA team. He had a great game one of those games.
Paolo played really well.
Pool player.
And Paolo could be do some 5 too, some small ball 5.
Yeah.
Devin Vassell.
I don't know about that one.
You don't want shooting on this team? Off ball scoring?
Oh my gosh.
Insight into the Wemby game plan?
Insight? Yeah, because they don't have film.
Well, to get some firsthand experience could be nice.
I'm dead.
Get into a site
I'd say
game.
Sohan would be more likely.
But doesn't Sohan play for another team?
Does he?
I think he's like Polish.
What?
I think he's, yeah. I could be wrong.
Sohan's Polish?
Sohan doesn't sound like a Polish name to you?
I didn't know he's Polish. Oh, you're right. He's Polish American. He was actually raised in Britain. It's hilarious. So I wonder if he could play for Team Britain. Also, has anyone ever seen a game from Team England? Like, am I geeking?
It's true. Where are they at? Isn't Anunoby from Anunoby's from the motherland, right?
Yeah, he's British, yeah. England men's national basketball team. Team England. I've never seen them do literally anything. Like, how are they this bad?
You think, especially with the way Canada's been on the rise? Australia?
You'd think England would have something.
And the US, all of the countries that England spawned are succeeding in basketball, and not England.
They got a 3x3 team. I don't know about there.
Oh. Did you see that Ice Cube challenged the the gold medal winning 3-on-3 team to play the big three all-stars and they accepted.
Yeah, but FIBA stopped. Yeah, but FIBA stopped him.
Oh, did FIBA actually step in? I just saw that he extended the invitation. I didn't see that FIBA ruled yet.
Yeah, I don't
No
know.
way.
He
Why
claimed
did they
that
do
FIBA
that?
did it
For what?
because they don't get any of the money.
But FIBA, like, what does they can't just slip them on a little something? I don't know. FIBA, just make it happen. The fans want to see it. Okay, the UK does not have a rich basketball history, not a ton of players to come out of there. Only a few active players, like we said, OG Anunoby. Okay, this basketball reference says that Nikola Jovic was born in the UK, but I think he plays for Serbia, right?
Yeah, he did. Jovic and Jokic were playing together.
Nikola Topic is going to be there. They're going to have Nikola.
And do you think Anunoby will go back with that contract and rebuild the British Basketball League?
Can he support like Lil Dang? Admiral Schofield?
Oh yeah, Schofield. I always thought that was a super British name.
True, Admiral.
Yeah.
I guess Schofield too. And Ben Gordon.
Yeah.
From back in the day. Bulls, Cavs. Or no, I guess never Cavs. Bulls, Pistons, Charlotte, and then the Hornet. Was that Larry Hughes that was on the Cavs? Ben Gordon, 41. I mean, he could be on the team now. It's true though. Somebody needs to step up and get the UK basketball scene kickstarted.
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth never saw a British gold medal for basketball. Like, come on now.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Come on now. We can't let Prince Charles go too, man.
Well, I don't know if she needs to see a gold because the US has to win those, but get her a silver at least.
At least a silver.
We're not going to sacrifice any of the gold medals yet. I'm not going to lie. The fact that, at least from the Spurs fans' perspective, it does help that Ginobili was on the Argentina team that won the gold medal, because the fact that Duncan was on that 04 team and they didn't, and that's like the one team, in this dream team era run when we've been sending professional basketball teams that have not won the gold medal, that it hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little tough.
You said that the dream team did what?
I was just saying how it's tough that Duncan was on that 04 team that won the bronze.
Yeah. Well,
and
guess he just didn't have it.
And broke the streak. Because that's the one team since we've been sending professional guys that didn't win it. But, for the Spurs fans, like I was saying, Ginobili, thankfully he was on that Argentina team.
Yeah.
So we're happy.
So maybe, yeah, more Spurs fans are still happy. I feel like, didn't they get a silver in there?
A bronze.
08? What was 08?
Oh, 08 was gold.
Redeem Team?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've been golds from 92 till now, except for 04.
Oh, I thought LeBron had a silver in there.
That was that 04 year.
Maybe FIBA. Oh, okay.
With the bronze, yeah.
I thought 04 was bronze. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and there's no silver.
Oh, no. All right. Have you been watching preseason football?
A little bit. I've been trying to keep up.
You saw your boy JJ McCarthy?
Trying to stay in the know. I watched. I'll cherish the highlights that he had. It was the shorter run than Anthony Richardson. It's unfortunate. I don't really. Was it an injury sustained in practice? It didn't happen in the game, did it?
I don't know. Well, it seemed like after the game, he was like, something's hurting, and they're like, oh snap.
See, he's a tough kid. The man's a tough kid. He's in such a zen mindset that he doesn't even. I'm sure his body was probably healing itself. They didn't even need to do the surgery with how much this guy meditates.
Yeah.
But I guess they decided that was the best
we should do the
plan of action. Do you think they were just so sold on Sam Darnold that they were like, well, I guess we can afford to shut McCarthy down now?
I guess so. There had to be something. I was kind of surprised they let him shut down.
Did you see any of his highlights at all? Did you see any of his throws?
I saw some. It didn't look like anything too crazy, but I don't know. People were saying, because of the Michigan thing, like they weren't letting McCarthy play or something. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, he uncorked a couple of passes where, I mean, you saw the touchdown at least, I assume.
Yeah. No, did you see? I mean, do you want to speak on that? What is it? The show cause for Harbaugh. Is there any long-term effects you think for Michigan or something?
Do you think we're gonna get stripped of the banner? Is that what you're saying?
I would be concerned.
Is Michigan
I
losing the
would be a little
banner?
bit
We
concerned.
can't lose this banner. We've already lost the Fab Five banners.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't lose
That's just
these too.
missing.
This is our only outright football championship in like the modern era, because the one we won in the 90s was a tie with Nebraska. I don't even know who was a tie. I mean, Michigan is the team that gets remembered from that year, make no mistake, but it still was a tie. So the fact that we won outright in the college football playoffs, the fact that it was with, the Harbaugh thing, the fact that it was it's hard for a guy to come in and promise a national championship to a school, especially for a guy that hadn't actually won a national championship, or I don't even think played in a national championship game. But it was like, I guess he was in a Super Bowl, but we bring him in and the expectations are he's going to bring us a national championship. And the fact that he was actually able to build the program and, you want to say he did things the right way, but apparently there's a little, messing around and bending the rules. But for the most part, in terms of developing guys within the system, like McCarthy's a homegrown guy, Hutchinson wasn't there when they won the championship, but just a lot of guys that leveled up their games from the time when they were at Michigan, didn't necessarily come in as, I mean, McCarthy was a 5-star guy, but, definitely showed improvement and just felt like a really special run that they ended up having in Michigan when he was there. So the fact that it ended up culminating in a championship, and to see that get it stripped away would just, it would definitely be devastating for a Michigan fan. And I know things are, I can't speak for the larger fan base, but there was always that sense that Michigan was supposed to be a powerhouse school, but just we've never been, in terms of a national championship standpoint, on the level of these other schools like Alabama or even Ohio State, or, Clemson had a better run with Dabo than anything Michigan's put together in terms of national titles this century.
That's true.
So, I don't want to say expectations have shifted in the future, but at least for the short term, I can't say that Michigan fans are demanding a national title. So to see that the one that we had for now get stripped away would just really be a lot. But at this point, it seems like it's a little aggressive. I don't know if that NCAA would want to do that either, because,
yeah,
I mean, let's be honest, the Michigan fan base is one of the bigger fan bases in college football, but I don't know if that necessarily matters.
Oh, you're too big to fail.
Try us, NCAA. I dare you. But I don't know if they necessarily want to go that route. So I'm not too concerned yet. But yeah, it would be bad.
No, it would be really bad. And yeah, I don't know. I do think what the band they threw out was kind of useless. And it'll be interesting to see how your team changes this next year. I mean, how big of a loss do you think Harbaugh is? I mean, because no matter if you guys continue to recruit at the same level, even though you don't have the magnetic personality that is Jim Harbaugh, like the Big Ten just got a whole lot harder. Like there's just no way you can have the same number of wins when the game the schedule matters more than the schedule is a whole lot harder than just a bunch of bottom feeder teams in the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Michigan adapts to a new Big Ten without without Jim Harbaugh. And yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye. I mean, how worried are you about this whole huge change and losing your man?
Well, fortunately, it's a 12-team playoff, so it's not like they have to necessarily win the conference to get into the playoff. We'll see how that looks in the college football landscape, because it'll just be a different thing to gauge with the playoff expanding to a field that size. But I mean, I think Michigan is pretty close to being right. I mean, they're number 8 right now in the preseason poll, and I know Georgia is clearly the favorite right now to, I think, be back on track. And I mean, I guess I'm not a guy that, I know some of the names going into the college football season, but I need to watch a couple of games to really get a gauge for what the teams are going to be. But I know the Georgia team is really on pace, especially with Carson Beck back there again to be one of the better teams in college football this year. But if Alex Orji is really like a special weapon for Michigan at quarterback, like they've still got a handful of guys that are going to be, first round, second round level talent on that defense that is going to be able to make them a competitive team. And yeah, the Big Ten got a lot deeper this year, but I think the teams that got added to it, fortunately, are facing the same problem that Michigan had. Like USC just lost Caleb Williams, Ohio State. They lost Kyle McCord is, they're going to get Will Howard's their quarterback.
Will Howard from Kansas State. Yeah.
This year. Yeah. I mean, good player, but I don't necessarily think Alex Orji is shaking in his boots about Will Howard over there. I think that's a reasonable opponent to go against. And, I guess Oregon, losing Bo Nix. Do we know who Oregon's starting quarterback is this year? Did they get like a transfer?
I don't know, man.
Or something?
I don't know, but Danny Lanning is still there. Re-signed him to a bigger contract. I feel like coaches are just so important in football, especially with only 3 active head coaches having national championships. And what's his face? Dabo Sweeney. Kirby. And then there's one other dude. I can't remember his name, but Mac Brown.
Mac Brown's got a championship. Texas.
When was that?
That would have been like right at the end of the odds. 06, 07, 05. Would that have been the Vince Young year, 04?
Maybe. But that's the last one. I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention to college football like that when Mac Brown won, but beyond him, it's pretty much Kirby.
It would have been hard for you to do that as a toddler.
So it's definitely
2005.
It's definitely time for a new era, and we'll see. There's a whole lot of options.
Sharon Moore could be right at the front of that. I have a lot of Sharon Moore stock. I love the hiring.
For where?
For Michigan.
Oh, yeah, Moore. Yeah, I should have recognized it. What do you think of?
Oregon's got Dylan Gabriel. Who do I think of? What? Sorry.
What do you think of the Alabama with the Washington coach?
Oh,
they lost some recruits, but
I'm pretty interested to see what that's going to be, because I mean, a couple of the guys at work keep talking about Alabama like it's just going to be Bama again this year. But I don't know. It's like they don't have Saban. That's like you're saying, that's a huge deal. Saban was, Alabama is without Saban still a huge pro. Paul Bryant. Like we get that Alabama's a premier destination, anyways. But Saban was the main guy when he was at LSU too, right? And that was still a little earlier in the Saban run, but that was Saban on track to be that in some way. So, they're losing the greatest college football head coach of all time. It's
exactly,
I think, going to be kind of tough. But I like DeBoer, and they're going to have Milroe there, and it's going to be, I think, a good transition year. But I don't think, are they ranked above Michigan right now?
Do we have preseason rankings?
I think so. I know there was a coaches poll. I'm pretty sure the AP poll just
college football
rankings.
So looking at the AP top 25, we got Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2, Oregon at 3, Texas at 4, Alabama at 5, Ole Miss at 6,
5.
7 at Notre Dame, 8 Penn State over Michigan at 9, and Florida State at 10. There's a lot of love for Ole Miss this year. Ole Miss is the Cinderella preseason darling right now.
Who's their quarterback?
I'm not sure, but I know their schedule is really is pretty weak. It's a cupcake schedule, is what I'm hearing on the streets. So
Jackson Dart?
Dart. Yeah. I guess there's a backup quarterback competition going on right now.
See, it's hard. I don't know how I feel about a team with a QB competition going into
top 5. The year. Well, it's a backup fight. I don't know. Top 5, Dart, Jackson Dart.
Where are they ranked in the poll right now?
Top 5 Heisman Trophy candidate. I think 6th. There's something Lane Kiffin's team.
You said they're 6?
Let's see here.
Because they're 6 in the odds right now. I just pulled up the odds.
They're 6th, yeah. Shout out Kansas at 22.
And Michigan's
Jalen
11th in
Daniels
the
coming back.
odds compared to 8th in the AP poll.
They're 9th in AP 25, yeah.
Florida State, DJ Uiagalelei?
Yeah, 10th. Clemson's
I'd have a little
14th.
Florida State stock. Tennessee?
Tennessee, I don't know, is 15th. I'm surprised USC is as low as 23rd. They really, I mean, Caleb Williams, I guess, really carried that team.
Because, yeah, he definitely did. And Tennessee's got that kid that was number 2 behind Arch Manning in their recruiting class. I think starting for them this year. Where's Texas at?
Texas.
They're 4th in the odds right now.
But everyone's out on Michigan, man.
If they have Arch Manning, though, I think I might put him at number 2 behind Georgia.
Yeah.
Does Tennessee have a defense?
They're pretty low. Who knows? Tennessee.
Iowa 250-1.
Yeah, I was in 23rd, I think.
Colorado 300-1.
Bro, Dion? Colorado.
Jador?
Can they get 4 wins first?
Can I bet them to finish in the top 25?
That'd be an interesting bet. Maybe you should check one of our podcast sponsors, BETSTAMP. Having all your needs, betstamp.com. Check out the links below. Also got DRF Sportsbook in Iowa. Put some bets down. Help the homies out. Again. Use the leagues. Follow the links down below to support the pod. And if you're, you got a couple winnings, you got a little money, you want to show a little bling, head over to Pura Vida. Got plenty of jewelry. Show you off to all your friends in an equitable way. Very mindful, very cutesy, very demure kind of site.
Oh, do we have to RIP DRF?
Oh, what's wrong?
We may have to RIP.
It's shut down?
We didn't promote it enough. Apparently, DRF was not popular with the people. IT, take it out of the rundown. It's okay, though. Pura Vida keeps on chugging along. 2 for 3 is not bad.
What do you mean? I'm going to... Wait, let's see here.
Should I read the notice on the app? It says DRF is ceasing operations. New wagers are no longer being accepted. Any pending wagers will be settled as normal on the event date. The deadline to withdraw any remaining funds is January 21st, 2025.
So
if you have any questions, contact customer support at
DRF Sportsbook.
So RIP DRF, it was a good run. We appreciate it.
Hey, we tried. We appreciate the support. It's we were proud to be part of the DRF Sportsbook team. It looks like they got still a promotion going on. Horse racing, that's crazy. Shout out DRF. I will remember you.
Too bad we need a sound effect for DRF.
Will you remember?
This is terrible.
Me?
Another sports book done under by corporate America.
I know it. Well, BetStamp is still open. You can still get plenty of odds at any other sports book that is. A lot of them are open and they get you the best odds. And you can bet on some of the games tomorrow night. We got what's here? Commanders plus 200 over the Dolphins.
Whoa.
Not a bad. Yep, taking a peek at that. Cool bet.
You might as well just bet that because it's preseason and it's backups anyways. It's not like it's the actual Commanders versus the Dolphins.
The Cowboys plus 260 over the Raiders, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, not that one.
Bet the Raiders,
Sunday
people.
night football, Saturday night football.
Is this a good way to do it? Should this be how I kind of pad my funds going into the regular season? Is just bet all of these preseason underdogs, and then some of them are going to hit, right?
Yeah, some gotta hit. You're just
Like,
gonna be sweating it out with third stringers who are gonna get cut.
yeah, why are the Bengals 2-1 underdogs versus the Bears? I mean, yeah, Caleb Williams might be out there for a drive. 2. But you think Tyson Bagent's going to pull this thing off? I mean, the Lions 3-1 to the Chiefs right now.
Wow.
I
Even I
the
would
Chiefs
put
are going
money
to
on
tank this
that.
game. I'm going to do
don't
this right
care
now.
about the preseason. No, he's actually putting it in money on. And there's the power of BetStamp, y'all. Get a
Yeah, the
check
Cowboys,
out
the
the links
Packers.
below.
I'm doing it. I'm just going to bet all these at 2-1. I'm going to hit a couple of these.
There you go. Something got to hit. And you see, the only way he knew the odds were so good because he went to BetStamp. Shout out Rem.
I can parlay all these together for 150 to 1. I'm gonna be rich.
That's it. He's done with the pod. He's cooked. He's gonna be in his mansion in Miami.
I don't know if I have enough to place a wager to get me that rich, but
That's
I have enough to make something that'll help.
funny.
It can turn $10 into a nice amount of spending money.
Yeah.
Not even.
We'll save it. Maybe save it for Christmas or some Christmas fund.
Yeah, true. Health insurance. True. If I do good if I do good in sports betting this year, BetStamp, help me get health insurance. I'm going to use BetStamp to get health insurance.
Do you know Mrbeast?
Of course. Jimmy D.
Have you heard about the allegations that came out?
I've heard that there are allegations. I don't know anything about them, though.
So there's new allegations that, well, one, he was protecting like a sexual offender. Like he was someone who had like really graphic pictures of like minors on his walls and stuff. And like he knew about all this stuff. It's nasty stuff. But then also like, all those crazy challenges, like he like skews it towards his friends and he gives free money to his friends. And then there was one video that was happening about like someone in solitary confinement for a certain couple of days. And like people are like, hey, that's kind of a war crime. Like Geneva guy in Geneva kind of got rid of that. But there was one dude who was like an editor and he was supposed to be on camera, but they're like, your personality is too big to be on camera. And they actually did one take before the other take, the final take that got him in trouble. And the guy was in there for like days on end with the lights on and losing his mind. And like then they made him like run a marathon and all that. And it was kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But all that to say,
so what's gonna happen to Mr.
Beast? Well, it's still gonna go on, but
is he like getting sued or something?
It's like all fake and stuff. I don't think he's getting sued, but it's like people are finding out how bad he is. I mean, it's mostly the people who watch it are kids who don't think about like, hey, how is this actually possible? Because like all the sets, like usually they're fake, or he's giving money to his friends, or like, where they had 100 boys versus 100 girls, like they like skewed it against the guys because all the girls were leaving and stuff, or they're like the paint was causing people to go high, like get high, and then like the person running the drone was hitting on the girls. Anyway, just wanted to bring awareness that the biggest YouTuber who gives millions of dollars of stuff, it isn't real. Unsurprisingly, like when they're like, "Oh, we do 2 weeks on the tent," they did like they claimed they did 2 weeks on a raft or whatever, and it was really like they just went to some production boat and like came out, and like you can see the clips where it's obvious that like they weren't in the tent, and then they cut to.
So it's like the moon landing. It's fake.
No, because the moon landing is actually real, but
some of the pictures aren't.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like, I mean, he's probably helping some people, but like it's also the ethics of helping people and then making money off of it.
Yeah.
So
hopefully, I mean, he has done a lot to clean the oceans. The man,
Well, I was just about to watch a video saying that he actually hasn't.
the man's got no
Well,
trash out of the oceans.
I guess he just promoted Circle, which creates an unending cycle of unrecyclable plastic.
Like the flavor water bottle thing that all the
I
girls
think
like.
so. Yeah. Water talk.
The evolution of the Hydro Flask. Because that was the thing about the Hydro Flask, right? It was metal and you had your metal water bottle. You were just going to refill it all the time. You didn't have the plastic thing. But then Circle got back in the game and people had to get to the flavored water was so important that plastic was right back in again, baby. I'll throw a little trash in the ocean for some great flavored water.
Yeah,
A little strawberry lemonade.
I don't know. People are saying, yeah, it's like him pretty much promoting stuff that will put stuff back in the oceans. And there was like also, I mean, it's pretty much like him doing lotteries that you have to pay for, which is kind of illegal as well. Like you can't pay for lotteries because then like
You can't fake a lottery.
Exactly. So
yeah, that's not
he
good.
was like, there's like ones where he'll like say he'll sign shirts and he's like, oh, if you buy right now, I'll give you may get a shirt. So it's like a lottery for a signed shirt. And then there's like when they're signing the shirts, it's obviously like signatures getting forged by other people and stuff. So there's a whole lot of sleazy stuff. And like the shirts are each like $40. So like he's, going through them like it's tissues or something. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna get doxxed. Who knows? He's been deleting every comment that talks any smack about him.
Are the Mrbeast minions gonna come after Rem and Sam? Are we gonna go to war with Mrbeast? Mrbeast, call in and defend yourself.
Maybe.
Don't send the
He hasn't made a video in like 2 weeks.
Ooh. Mrbeast has gone silent? What's his next video?
Maybe
this is all real or something?
It's crazy, but yeah, it's obvious it's all fake.
I mean, you said last year that he was at the peak of his powers, so it makes sense that now things are starting to words are starting to leak, there's stories.
Well, and like there's no way like a video that's like 10,000 days $10,000 every day you survive in a wilderness. Like there's no way. There's no way you have money for that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, obviously,
in 10 minutes, like
there's probably a little WWE there.
In the ages 1 through 100, like if you actually do the math, like people are in wrong areas and stuff, and like there's no way it actually works, and like it's just like made up drama, or like people are paid actors and they're going slow intentionally, so it goes to the last minute, or like they're intentionally starting stuff. It's unsurprisingly, it's all fake, people. Which is not that surprising. But the point is, do people even care?
He survived 100 days in a nuclear bunker. I mean, the thing is, it's like so Mrbeast just like, obviously that might be a little fishy because this is one of the biggest business guy in the world. He just went away for 100 days. It's a half a year, a third, 40% of a year.
Who knows? And then Aaron, he's like force feeding people like the Feastables or whatever, and like making everyone to be like, oh, this chocolate's so great. Like people who are starving or whatever, like have the Feastables and they're like, oh, you got to say how good it is. Or, telling people, oh, you got to cry more and stuff.
Mrbeast, bro, don't force the Feastables on us.
Yeah, I don't know.
Protect the yacht, keep it.
Exactly. You see like these videos, like there's no way.
I might watch that one.
Yeah.
7 days stranded on an island. Protect the Lamborghini, keep it. Oh, so you're just going to end up with this like trash Lamborghini. That's unfortunate, but I do my best to try to protect it. Survive 7 days in an abandoned city. Should we just start doing some of this stuff for real? Should that be our lane?
So let me see. Okay, so let's see. Well, and there was a guy. One of the things in the employee workbook for Mr. Beast was like no doesn't actually mean no. So there's like policy that like written like in the official handbook as an employee of Mr. Beast of being like, oh, you need a badger. Like if you go into stores and stuff, like you just gotta find a yes. Like you gotta push through. You gotta, even if one manager doesn't say no, like maybe another one won't, and just because one store won't, another one won't. But it seems like it's pretty much the main things against him is promoting gambling to kids, employing someone who was well known, pedophile. The conditions of the Beast Game TV show that he had with Amazon, where like people were starving and stuff. Like, and then he was talking, even in his own interview, he admits like having to actually follow the rules when he was working with Amazon and being like, oh, that's illegal. And he can't do that. He has to actually learn that. And then there's lawsuits that he's been threatened against people. And then, of course, he fakes his videos and rigs competitions. And then, yeah. So those are a couple of stuff. Like, it's like, I don't know.
Do you want to actually do some of this stuff for real? And make that
do what for real?
Some of these videos?
Like,
and
make
like that's our thing. Like we actually did it. Because it might
like
be
we
fun
did the
to,
investigation, or
like it might be fun to go try to hang out in an abandoned city for a week.
it might be interesting to hang out where in a week?
Like an abandoned city?
Yeah.
Like he's got one
maybe
that's an abandoned city. That one wouldn't even cost anything. We could just go.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't, if you're getting paid, maybe. But otherwise, I'm good. I don't gotta go to no city.
I built 100 wells in Africa. I don't know if we could do that one, unfortunately.
I
don't have the
and
funds
that's the
to get
ones
over
where he's like, trying to, he's like, oh, coming in like white savior and all that jazz.
7 days stranded at
usual.
sea. We could do this one.
We
could go get stranded at sea for 7 days.
Okay.
Ages fight. Oh, this is the one you were talking about, 1 versus 100?
Yeah.
Wait, so did a 100-year-old fight a 1-year-old?
No, I don't think so.
It was fake. Well,
Baker.
if I hire an assassin to try to kill you, just know it's for
exactly. That was that one. I was like,
just know it's for a bit. It's not real. You're like, nah, I think this guy's been following us for several blocks now.
No, it's definitely for a bit.
Send me to Antarctica. Somebody needs to prove it can be done.
Someone's got
give the people what they want. On Rem and Sam Plus.
Rem and Sam. Rem and Sam. Yeah, no, I don't know. I just think it's a notable pop culture thing. Number one YouTuber in the world. It's crazy to think, you can't go without some scandal. Like you have to be at the top of anything, you have to be doing something like fringe illegal to be at the top of
We're doing it wrong, Sam.
Of YouTube. Like,
we need to start cheating the system.
It's just crazy. Like you have to do something crazy just to be that big and that popular.
I know. First Drake, now Mrbeast.
I know.
So there's an employee that's like a Kendrick Lamar in this situation, is what you're saying? Somebody dropped a diss track.
What
happened? I mean, obviously,
just someone.
The allegations are probably legal allegations too of the PDF file, but like some of the other stuff, was that you said that was leaked by an employee?
Yeah, so there was the PDF file. like people are saying, is that person is it's I mean that one you can see from clips that they're like looking like Mrbeast is looking at photos and
Ugh.
stuff like that. He's looking at like he sees it happening. He sees the photos where it is like minors, graphic photos of minors. But in terms of like the actual experiences, it's just more and more employees talking, them revealing what's going on. And you know how it is, like when one person does it, then everyone does it, and they're like, oh my gosh. And so I've been just watching everything I can about it, just staying up to date because it's like a new thing every time.
Has he lost any subscribers or anything?
I don't know. He was at 301, and I think he was higher than that earlier. So maybe. Let me see. There's got to be
Oh,
some
he's at
chart out
310
here.
right now.
Oh, 310. Okay, that's what it was.
So he's just staying there. But yeah, 13 days since his last videos. But what is his normal thing? Like once a week?
Hmm.
What does he
I
normally
don't
post? You know?
know. Let's see. View stats. No, I mean it's usually one or two a month, but I mean it's probably slowed down when with this whole thing.
And the thing is, he should take care of business with, that is some serious stuff that needs to get handled.
So he's down 21%. I guess he's lost seven. Wait, let me see here. View changes. How many has he lost? Oh, is this in the last? Is this views? Okay, so his views are up in the last 3 months. Okay, in the last month, his I guess growth of getting subs is down 12 million. So now he's at 6 million in the last month, I want to say, of subscribers. Which from what? What's 6 plus 12? 18. From 18 to 6. It's a big part. So he's lost 2/3 of subscriber growth that he usually does, according to this. He's still making money though. Don't worry. He's not hurting. He's still
Well, he's forced a Mrbeast burger on everybody. So
yeah, he's still
that's
getting
doing well
that.
for him.
He's still getting that revenue.
That Mrbeast bag.
Best believe. And the feastables and all that. Yeah, he's definitely fine. But yeah,
R.I.P. Mrbeast.
some he's not dead, but it's rocky times right now for the biggest YouTuber in the world.
And
Rocky,
just
rocky
like that,
times.
the end of innocence too, like you're saying with his channel. It was kind of this
Yeah,
blissful thing up
you're
until this
right.
point. Now there's this, and not saying that he can't. Obviously, he can clean things up and get out
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of it a better man. But yeah, unfortunately, like you're
Who
saying, rocky
knows?
times.
Rocky times. Um, you ready to head over to the corners?
Yeah.
The old corners. So something came across my feed a little bit ago. I don't know if you've seen this already or if I sent this. But here, let me try to go. A lady, I think former or current like lunch lady or here, let me save this because speed. I show speed is doing too much today. My
Oh, is
feed's
this
going
the
crazy right
punch?
now. No, this isn't the punch. We're not going into
Oh,
that. That's like a machine. A 68-year-old Illinois woman gets 9 years in prison for stealing 1.5 million worth of chicken wings from a school district.
whoa! Oh, a school
Yeah.
district. The lunch lady.
Yeah.
The
The
lunch lady
lunch
was
lady
taking chicken wings.
is like during COVID or whatever, but when no one
Oh
was there, and I
man,
guess
times were tough.
she thought it could let it slide, but she pleaded guilty. Um, Vera Lindell. She was the food service director for Chicago school. And it was during COVID. And I guess she thought because they continued to make meals for students, she wouldn't have noticed. So she ordered 11,000 cases of chicken wings and picked up the order in a district cargo van.
Oh, she did it all at once.
Um, I don't. No, it was over a 19-month period.
Oh, okay, okay.
So she's like a couple boxes here, a couple boxes there.
Wait,
You know,
how many
probably
chicken
some for
wings was
friends.
that?
11,000 cases. It's a $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. So you do the math. I don't know. That's a lot. I guess the district business manager found there were $300,000 over the annual food budget,
Yeah, I mean,
despite being only halfway through the year.
if she's getting 11,000 cases in 19 months, she's getting almost 580 cases a month of chicken wings.
Well, and it's easy for them to tell because they don't order food with bones in it. So
It's not even on the menu.
for kids.
These are
that's not even on
rookie
the menu.
mistakes. She's getting
Oh,
145
chicken nuggets. She could have been doing chicken nuggets.
145 cases of chicken a week. They're gonna notice.
That's crazy.
You can't take all the money out of the cash register at one time.
It's unclear what she did with the wings. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what you do with that much chicken.
Was she feeding like
what?
her like whole family? You know, was it like,
I don't.
you know, I got the brothers,
Grandma,
and the aunts,
grandpa,
aunts and uncles.
I think she
the
was running a
neighbors.
food truck or something. She had to be running a food truck. Or something.
This was her side hustle too.
She had to be flipping these chicken wings. You know, that's just pure profit right there.
Wow.
You know?
She's embezzling chicken wings from the school and then selling them on the street.
Yep.
Can we get her
She
on
thought
the
she was
pod?
gonna get away with it too. Well, no, she's kind of gonna be in jail, so she's kind of under custody.
Can we do like the Tory Lanes? Have her call in?
Sneak a phone in.
I bet
I
she would.
see him put TikToks.
She might do it.
Tell your story, Vera.
You got 3 minutes. Go. IT, write it down.
Well, she's 68, so I don't know. Maybe
The
we
Rem
can
and
find
Sam
her
prison
Facebook
series.
or I do not have relations. But don't check out it.
But is that even what would be the number one food that you would steal from the school? Why not just take like the pizza or something? I guess chicken wings are pretty. Chicken tenders. I mean, yeah, chicken tenders are right there. Just order those.
Yeah, that's how you know it was old school.
A non-menu item for. It's crazy.
She said, I don't want no chicken nuggets. I want only the real stuff.
Plus, that's a crazy kind of because like she could go crazy and be like, you know, I'm gonna get some hot dogs, I'm gonna get some pizza, I'm gonna get some chicken.
Exactly.
What all do you guys have? Spaghetti? I don't know what you guys did. What was on your menu?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
We had like some disgusting popcorn shrimp they'd serve a lot.
Oh yeah. Popcorn shrimp for sure.
Popcorn shrimp.
If you got a little bit extra of everything, you know, maybe you could sneak it that way. But I feel like it's very similar to like taking stuff for. I mean, we've all taken free food from work, right? Especially if you're working in those kitchen environments, like especially the fast food type stuff, or like the one where I used to work at was more like a concession stand style. It was in a trampoline park. But I mean, you can't make like 3 things of chicken tenders every time you go in. You know, you can't just make multiple orders of the same thing over and over again for every shift, especially if you're going in 4 or 5 times a week. It's just like you're going to get caught. They're going to be like, the numbers aren't adding up. We're not selling this many chicken tenders and we're having to restock. Especially on smaller operations like that, like a school kitchen operation. I don't know. I guess it could be a pretty big operation, but
no, it's just.
I mean, what was your plan in taking food from work back in the day? What was your strategy?
I mean, like we had the fryer. You know, there's stuff that was old in there.
So you weren't taking like full meals. You were taking like bits and pieces here and there.
I'm taking what was left. If I was in the kitchen all day, mind you, work 12 hours. I'm sneaking a burger. I don't care.
100%. Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. Like if I'm on that grill,
a double for sure.
Sweating, like my glasses are glossed over. I can't see a thing. Like I'm taking at least a burger. You know what I mean? Like I'm taking something. But like if I'm up front or whatever, then the move is like you have the fryer back there and it has like fries or whatever just hanging in there, and you take, you eat as you go along. Or if you're really smart, you ring up, you know, when you go on break, you ring up the order and then you make your own food. You know what I mean? So you put a little extra here, a little extra there, and then you just have leftovers for later. That's how you really do it.
So how do you
Because
guys
you
do?
pay, but
How do you guys do like the chicken tender situation? Is it like you make it every order individually, or do you make a whole bunch and have them ready to go, and then you can kind of take from the stash, or do you have to like throw an extra chicken tender into the order and make an extra one, make a 4 instead of a 3?
it had to be really busy for us to just throw down tenders. Like it had to be like where the screen's so full it doesn't even make sense to count. But they almost always counted. They almost always counted. So it was always made to order. Uh, but yeah, if it was ever like a super rush, then that was crazy. And then at the end of the rush, that's where you just put some aside instead of throwing it away.
Well, yeah, the leftover stuff is always fair game, I feel like. But
yeah.
that's the way we
but
did it
there's
too.
always like those 2 or 3 people is like, well, you didn't pay for that. So yeah, you can't be stealing.
And you like what? Put them in a closet?
Just, you know, it was just like, all right, whatever. Like our bosses didn't care. Like they cared obviously if you're taking a lot, but like if you're, especially if it's after a rush, like you didn't just fry up stuff just for you and just eat it. Like
Yeah, and especially if
it's
you're a good worker.
like yeah, especially if you're good at your job, like they're not gonna fire you. Like what are they gonna do? And then, you know,
yeah.
especially if you're a manager too, like what? Oh, man.
Have you got power? If you're in a position of leadership, it's too much of a change. But that's what we used to do. We used to make everything to order too, but you would just throw, hey, I'm throwing one in here, one in there.
Exactly.
But if, yeah, like you're saying, if it's a double shift and you're going to be there all day, then a free entree, you know, like
and then you're not
burger, chicken
the kitchen
tenders,
to eat
corn
it.
dogs.
Yeah, you're not leaving the kitchen to eat it. You find some corner.
Yeah.
You know, you somewhere and you just munch
There's
it
a
down,
water
you
heater
know?
back there somewhere.
Exactly. There's something back there. So you just go in the corner and eat it, and everyone minds their own business. And someone has questions, oh, I'll ring it up later or something. I don't know. I never did that move.
I already paid for it.
But you know, everyone just minded their own business.
I bet I've taken probably, I wonder if how much in food do you think you've taken over the years? Do you think it's $1,000?
So I did work for 5 years. So I'd say in total, like maybe $100. Like it wasn't, I wasn't ever like super egregious. Like it was like maybe an extra scoop here, like a fry or 2 here or there. You know what I mean? Like if I really had to calculate it over 5 years, including, you know, extra stuff that I'd be doing all the time, I'd say maybe like $75 to $100. And even that's pushing it.
Wow. That's not a lot at all.
Yeah, it wasn't that much. Like it was, I wouldn't take a whole burger. I was too scared myself. But you know, every once in a while I'll take a burger or something, like if it was already made. But I would almost always try to keep it to food that was already made because I was like, I'm not trying to start stuff. But I mean, I know people who stole like, you know, we'd have like beef pot roast and you have to throw out like a whole pot roast at the end of the night. And
wait, you have to throw
like,
it out? That's not, I don't feel like that's stealing. If you have to throw it out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you have to throw it out. Well, yeah.
That's just fair game.
But then the question is, did you make extra because you're gonna throw it out? You see what I'm saying? Especially when you work a couple shifts in a row. Yeah, exactly. You prep some extra.
Okay, I've been there where you're like, we're not busy.
Yeah, exactly.
Should we make the extra pizza? Probably not, but we're gonna eat it later. Okay, I feel you.
Exactly.
So okay, well, if you count that, I'm easily $1,000 in debt. I shouldn't say that. I did cut it out. They're gonna track me down.
You gotta track it out. I know people who like feeding their whole families. I'm not even kidding. You got 2, 3, 4 burgers, like 2, 3 fries. I'm telling you, a couple cheese curds, like boxes. They're acting like they're about to feed a whole village. Like
just
I've seen that. So.
Showing up to work with like those reusable grocery bags.
Just like, I'm here to feed the family. No, I mean they use work bags, but. Yeah, I mean, I didn't say anything. I wasn't gonna snitch because, like, it's not my business. But
it's Culver's. It's corporate America, you know.
It was good. It was good stuff. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that's
That's
you
good
know,
stuff.
you guys got decent
But
food
it
over there too.
definitely
For God's
wasn't
sake.
1.5 million. I'll tell you that, and it wasn't stealing from the mouths of kids. That's a little
Yeah,
different.
that's true too. She's taking from the kids,
Taxpayer dollars.
like their actual lunches.
I knew I was just taking from the profit of, you know, some dude who would yell at me all the time. So
Yeah.
this is like taxpayer dollars. Like, come on now, from kids, stealing from kids.
One less oil change
You
for the
can't
owner's
support that.
Mustang. Like it's okay.
Exactly. I think I'll make it. Another thing that's happening, 3 white cornerbacks are about to make it to the NFL. They're highly possible. And guess where 2 of them are from?
Iowa, baby.
That's that Iowa football, baby.
Cooper DeJean,
Cooper
Riley Moss.
DeJean. Yeah, they're both about to make teams. There's one other one. I'm trying to remember where he's from because I had to look it up to see where he's at. But
Is he in
Ethan
Washington?
Bonner.
Oh,
Ethan
Bonner.
Bonner on the Dolphins. Yeah.
Oh, wait, is he gonna start?
No, it's just make a roster spot.
Oh, still, I mean, shout out. But DeJean might get some starting reps at some point in the season, right?
Maybe Ethan Bonner from the Bay Area, from Stanford. Shout out.
Wow.
But
So both the hometowns.
I know.
The hometown now and the hometown then.
Shout out Cooper DeJean, Riley Moss. There's some white cornerbacks in the league.
I got a lot of Cooper DeJean
anything to
stock.
say? I don't know.
guess,
People
and
are
the thing
saying
is-
next
is-
up, black
now is-
long snappers.
Get some real diversity in the league. Is DeJean going to actually play center though, or play cornerback, or is he going to play safety?
I don't know. But the streets are saying he's playing cornerback. I don't know.
'Cause he's got that
Sorensen
versatility.
was a great safety.
Who? Sorry.
Yeah, Sorensen, Danny Sorensen on the Chiefs.
I mean, he made some good plays, but didn't he also give up some plays too?
Yeah, I don't know. The comments are saying, yeah, he gave up some, but he was. I don't think he never had that high ceiling. But just like the comments are saying, he's the first guy's in, last guy's out. Go extra mile. Guys, kind of guys you let date your daughter. Just
Eric Weddle,
those kind of guys. Eric Weddle, he's probably one of the best.
Harrison Smith,
One of the best. He was slept on in his prime. I always like Harrison Smith on the Vikings. Double arm sleeves.
that might be about it for white safeties, though.
Yikes.
Harrison Smith really carrying.
Please stand up. Yeah.
But at least we'll have guys in both positions if DeJean goes to safety. Then it won't matter.
Yeah.
Because Moss is going to be full-time corner anyways in Denver.
That's true. Let me see here. What else is on the list?
Did you have anything else for your Piercing Truth? What corner?
Yeah,
were we in Piercing Truth right now?
Yeah, we are in Piercing Truth.
Okay,
McDonald's in France announced that they are removing the curry sauce. You can't get any curry sauce at any McDonald's.
Oh, that's petty. That's too petty, France. Get over it.
It's tough. They're mad.
Teach your guys how to shoot. Get in the gym.
They just had yeah, shoot.
You got Wemby.
You got plenty of time. Just put the shots up.
I mean, Fournier could be Steph. It just didn't happen.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, Cornier looked good too.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Him and Yabusele, like you were saying earlier. Yabusele was having plays where he was like the pick and roll ball handler out on the perimeter, and then would do like a dribble handoff and go down and post up a guy and then get the ball back in the post and play make from the post and just go in and out of these different spots in the court. Really, I'm surprised he hasn't signed with the team yet.
Yeah, no, it is crazy.
Put him on the Spurs.
He's definitely at least get him on the G League, like something.
Well, he might
Let's see him
want to play in France at that point. Because he's like a star over
Yeah.
Well, he is now, too.
That's why the home crowd loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he's had good moments in international basketball, too. It's not like he's over there because he has to be.
What else happened? Oh, Reagan. So, the breaking had of course it's the sport had its sport play this past year in the Olympics, breaking, men's and women's. And shout out to the people who won it, because I feel bad for them because they're not really being featured, because an Australian woman who got the worst, who finished worst on the women's side, and I think all of them, had a match where she scored 0 points. I repeat, 0 points. Well, everyone scored at least a couple. So now there's conspiracies flying around. Was her husband on the selection committee to make it in? Is she just doing it for a academic project because she actually teaches this stuff? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know, Rem. Before the pod, we were talking about it, and you kind of had the best take of it all. I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing about this hate, but I don't know, Rem. What was your view on this whole Australian, breaking competitor?
What did I say?
You said she was like compared to some other like Iowa celebrity.
Oh, was she the Caitlin Clark of the breaking, but just in reverse? Because she seemed like she kind of shut down the entire sport, because as we know now, breaking out of here, out of the Olympics. See you later. No more breaking, no more breakdancing in the Olympics. It will not be featured in Los Angeles in 2028. I don't know if they're going to replace it with anything, but they're not running it back.
Replace it with other ones. Yeah,
and I don't know.
I think we talked about. I think we talked about the new sports in 2028. They've already been announced. One of them is flag football. The other ones is was it baseball and / softball, which it's been in the Olympics before. They just took it out. Squash, lacrosse, and cricket. So, and baseball, softball, lacrosse, and cricket have all been in there before. So lacrosse hasn't been a sport since 1908. Geez. Olympic sport.
Yeah, those all seem like good sports to add in there over breakdancing.
Yeah. But I love this take. I love this take so much, because right now no one can name the actual champions, which is really sad. It's actually really sad when you think about it, that the real gold medalists
I don't even know what countries they were from.
Don't have. Exactly. Like there's just nothing but her in her suit. You heard Jimmy Fallon on there. It's just she's saying it's getting out of control. It's mostly like the T-Rex move, her rolling on the ground. Like there's a couple moves in there, and she's just saying it's getting out of control. She got on Instagram talking that she like worked her butt off. I don't know. It's just it is. I'll admit it is a lot of hate, but the memes are pretty funny. But yeah, it's you're right. It is the exact opposite of Caitlin Clark, where we're seeing a sport in breaking that was made. It looked like it was pretty close to a mockery of the actual sport, and someone who kind of had no business being there was, and now it is knocked out, and all people can remember is the person who was literally the worst at it at the Olympics. And she got the worst grade. It's not, that's not subjective opinion. So I feel bad for it, because it did. I mean, it is the reason why the sport went viral online, is because of someone who was horrible at it. And it's just a really bad way to show the sport. So no, I agree. I mean, as soon as you see someone in that tracksuit, you kind of know who it is. And when someone comes out in it.
Honestly, watching her response video, she's kind of hot. Ray gun, not bad. Slide in the
I love how that's
DMs.
what you took away. That's crazy. See
The
if
DM.
she'll join the pod. You want to see if we blow up? That's one way we could blow up. You should actually hit her DMs.
Did we
Please.
DM Raygun? Be like, we're huge fans.
Please
Did she say she had a family? Did she have a
join the
husband?
pod. That could actually boost the pod. You think we could get her? Should
Bro, I
find
think
her? Wait, let me see.
I think we could get Raygun. Is she on the gram?
I think
Is
so.
she
That's where
still
her
on the
message was
gram?
on. She's still.
Is her name Rachel Gunn?
Yeah, Rachel Gunn, yeah, Ray Gunn _ AUS.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. Should I slide in the DMs right now?
You should go for it, man.
What should we say?
Hey, sorry to hear about the hate you've been receiving. We'd love to have a chance for you to call out the haters on our podcast. We are the fastest growing podcast recorded on Zoom. Is that okay? And then put in quotes that talks about Ultimate Frisbee.
So usually my opening line when I slide in the DMs is on a scale of 1 to America, how free are you tonight? But you're saying I should.
You really stand by that one, huh?
That's a good line. Has a good hit rate in the Midwest. I don't know if it travels
Man,
overseas.
the comments are don't have fun again, please. The comments are crazy.
Ray gun. Maybe should we give
You
her a
suck.
second?
Just accept it. Victim mentality with zero accountability. You owe us all apology. The hater, how did you get in? Wow. Hey, respect to her for not closing the comments.
Wow, somebody posted a whole breakdown of the results.
Bro, we should get her on the pod. Just...
Oh no.
Are you gonna hit her up?
What you have yet to acknowledge is I feel like we should
Dr. Rachel Gunn.
We should probably wait.
Make sure you put that in the invitation, like Dr. Rachel Gunn.
Oh, true. If I say dear doctor, she'll know where.
Hello, doctor. Dr. Gunn.
Good morning, Dr. Gunn.
Dr. Professor Gunn.
Dr. Professor Gunn.
Dr. Gunn.
Somebody said you suck.
Imagine if we were able to get her on the pod.
Bro, IT will do their best.
She's already been on a podcast, the Female Athlete Project.
Yeah. Can you get Nia to slide?
Oh, dude. Nah, bro, you're gonna have to do it. She's been on several podcasts. She went on, what's this dude? Matt Whatadits? He has 475 followers. We're in.
Okay, we're slugged in, baby. Should we get the Turkish shooter next?
Alita Collective. She's been on a podcast that is called Alita Selective with 1,700 followers. We have a chance. I repeat, we have a chance.
Ladies and gentlemen,
before the Olympics, but whatever.
Follow Rem and Sam at Rem and Sam podcast. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube, and just stay tuned because we may have Dr. Rachel Gunn.
Oh,
you never know. It could happen.
You gotta promise the audience are gonna slide in the DMs. You gotta put it on something, man.
I told you what we're gonna try. We'll make an effort.
That's a Rem and Sam guarantee. We will try.
I'll keep you up. I'll update you with how it goes next week. We'll have an update.
Maybe we should. Yeah, we'll reach out now, and if it doesn't work, we'll give it a year. Like in a year, it'll be cooled down enough. Like no one will like bother and be like, "Oh, who was that again?"
We're also gonna slide into the DMs of this Turkish shooter.
Yeah. I think we could get him. I think we could get him.
I don't know. He's got 1 million followers right now on IG.
Oh, really? What's his name?
A little more popular than Reagan.
Oh, what's his name?
Yusef Dicic. YUSUF.
Oh, I see him. Official. Dicic official. He's definitely getting a follow. Stone cold, bro.
True. I'll hit him with a follow.
I just want to know how many people he's killed.
Mm. Yeah, there's no way this guy is not being used for. If we know one thing about governments, is they get their hands on things that they can use. Pause.
Yeah. No, either
We
he
might actually
had
get taken down
been
for that.
recruited or he was, or he's been since recruited. They're like, bro, I kind of need you in the army, bro.
A lot of silver medals for this guy.
A
But look at the
lot of silver
focus.
medal. What is?
I'm just watching him compete again at the Olympics. The focus.
He was locked in.
Honestly, this other equipment seems lame.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it does. You're giving yourself like 7 different sites to look through. At some point, does it become counterproductive?
I don't know, maybe. But that is true. They do look like some anime characters or something. It is kind of weird.
Did you have anything else?
Did I have one more thing? Let me see here. No, that's it. I guess going into the playoffs, UFA, last week, looking at the schedule here, last week was the quarterfinals. We had some close matchups, some close games. But it looks like what's their face? DC Breeze beats Boston Glory, the team with Jeff Babbitt and all of them. And
Oh, Babbitt's out?
the Salt Lake, yeah, Babbitt's out.
Oh,
Babbitt
R.I.P.
and
Babbitt.
RIP Babbitt. The Seattle Cascades, they beat the Salt Lake Shred. I tried to tell everyone Jordan
Oh!
Kerr and that team, Salt Lake Shred, it was gonna be shady. And the home team will not be playing in Chicago in the championship weekend next week. Seattle Cascades have Khalif El-Salam. He's like the highest paid player in the league. And, superstar on the team. And they figure it out. They win to beat them by one score, 21-20. Madison Radicals get stomped by the Wind Chill, 23-14. They just, the youth of the Radicals showed up. They're really athletic. They have some good signs, but it's pretty clear they're not quite there. And then what's their face? The Carolina Flyers beat the Atlanta Hustle 17-16. And something happened at the end of the game for DC and the Flyers is that they both tried to win the game. They both won the game by killing clock. So they just kept passing the disc around and kill clock, which is not how Frisbee works, because usually Frisbee, you're playing to a score, not to a shot clock. And so seeing players just pass the disc, which is easy in Frisbee, it's pretty easy to pass it around, it's just not how it should be. It's just not how it should be. And so some
you're
people
saying they're
calling for
running like
rule
the old school Dean Smith 4 corners basketball offense? Like
Pretty
that
much.
pre-shot clock, just we're gonna run
Yeah.
3 possessions in this whole game, and it's gonna be 6-4.
Yeah, it's pretty much like soccer, where if you get a goal and it's like the last 10 minutes, you're just going to be like near the corner flag, like blocking the people and trying to not just kill the clock, And so that's why, like, some players, like someone who I thought who was at one point the number 1 player in the world, Jack Williams, like posted on a story, it should be like 20 throws per possession. Maybe it should be a limited amount of throws, so they have to score. But it's just pretty much breaking the game that, in the last 2 minutes, the winning team is just going to pass around and win, especially with the game so skewed towards offense, with the fields being so wide. There's just so much space to throw to very athletic people, it makes it easy. So, and of course there's always the argument, oh well, then don't lose. And it's like, okay, well, but no one wants to sit there last 2 minutes and just watch people pass around the disc instead of scoring. I mean, the whole point of the game is they're supposed to be scoring and making highlight plays. So,
So do you like a possession limit? Is that something you would want to bring in?
I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting.
Is that just like a high, is that like a pro level thing, or would you want to see that as like just like a standard type frisbee rule?
No, I don't want to see it as a standard type frisbee rule. It's not like that.
But definitely at the
I
pro
don't- I don't-
levels, they should have term limits, is what you're saying.
I do think they probably should have like throw limits. That'd be a good idea. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, they didn't kill that much clock. Like it hasn't been abused like 5 minutes, but there should be at least some idea of like spirit of the game kind of thing, but I don't know.
They need to speed it up. They need to take some NFL lessons, speed up the game a little bit, increase the
We'll
scoring,
see.
or the NBA.
We'll see. But it was a problem they had this past year.
Was a problemo. And then
But you said the semis
what
are
was the-
this upcoming weekend, or not
semis
this,
are this weekend. It's
or
gonna
not? Sorry,
be
this weekend, but like the next weekend,
this next
this
weekend. Yeah,
upcoming weekend.
it's and it's gonna be on a Friday. So we might, if we start the pod soon enough, we could live watch it.
Oh, stay
Get logging
tuned, baby.
up in Salt Lake. It's
We're
gonna be
live
Minnesota
watching
wind
Frisbee with-
chill.
Does Raygun like frisbee?
We'll find out. We'll be watching Minnesota wind chill taking on the DC Breeze, a team filled with players from the #1 national club team, and then the Carolina Flyers taking on the Seattle Cascades. So some good, very, very good frisbee. No, there's no Empire. New York Empire have been dominating. It's all new players. So we'll see.
Wow,
There's a
fresh
lot of
faces in the
teams that
frisbee
aren't
scene.
used. Yeah, fresh faces.
It's
finally.
new blood all over the place. Pause.
I know. It's a whole lot better. Whole lot better. So that's what's happening over in Frisbee. Real quick on soccer, season started. It's only been one game. One interesting thing is that the #1 team in the world, Man City, still has to deal with 115 charges against them for salary cap stuff. And right now, the Premier League has to figure out how to punish them without affecting their own brand enough. Because if you lose Man City, then, if you just demoted them to League Two, then you lose like a lot of money because you obviously don't have that product anymore. And I don't know, there's also a tiny bit of talk of international relations because the team is owned by the head of the Saudi Arabia fund, not the Saudi Arabia fund, but the head of it. And there's talks of like Britain having to talk, the ambassadors having to talk to them and, be like, is Man City, what's going to happen with them? But it looks like Man City right now is somewhat safe. Like they trying to appeal this ruling. It's like 115 charges. So, I mean, one of the charges got like a 5-point deduction. So we're looking at like something crazy. And the thing is that Man City originally could have just admitted some fault and taken some, pretty much pled guilty and taken some appeal, lowered it. But, they're just so set on not taking any blame that it's just made it tougher and tougher to actually keep it around, to actually not punish them worse. So they just made this battle a whole lot tougher. So we'll see how it goes, but that's ongoing with the #1 team in the world. So yeah.
Wow.
That and FIFA 25, the game, I guess FC Sport FC Club is that's also, I got the beta mode. There's like a couple hundred people playing it in the world, and it's tough. It's a tough game.
So these are going to be like elite players too, right? They're super locked in.
Yeah, these are good players. It's yeah.
Wow. So are you a top
It's not
200
a fun
player in the
time right now,
world?
but I wouldn't say that. There was a point where I was like a top 0.1% in a certain game mode.
seasons.
Whoa.
But yeah. So you rack up hours. So I guess I'm also like a legacy member. Like I've been playing since the first, which was last year. So they call you legacy members.
Yeah.
But I played like their last one that they did with FIFA. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have the last 6 years of FIFA. So I've been playing a little bit, a couple of
Yeah.
years under. So they got me the beta. It's a lot. I think the second year in a row, second or third year, I've gotten the beta mode. So it's fun. It's decently fun. It's obviously some really bad glitches in it. Some of the team tactics are pretty tough to figure out. Like it's kind of weird. It's a definitely different game, but it's pretty fun, yeah.
But does it seem like you have high hopes for it?
I have middling hopes. It should be fun. There are some parts of it that are pretty exciting. You'll be able to play with like your youth team, which you were never able to do before. Like you're playing like with 16-year-olds and stuff, and you can play like develop them to be better. And then you can see them actually grow. Like they actually look physically different. So there are some interesting stuff, and they are a lot more specific about tactics. But it will be a little bit more of a headache figuring out what tactics work best. But it will be easier to share because there can be codes for each tactic. So it's pretty exciting.
So speak on it.
It's a lot of change.
What does FC need to do to improve before they release the final thing? Do you have any big suggestions that you would give out to them?
Yeah, definitely make sure the icons above the player's head stay that way, the same size. Like sometimes it'll just blow up out of nowhere and it'll be like covering half the screen. I don't know. I mean, I think changing the tactics screen has been a little tougher. It's been glitchy. Like you change it and you make it the active tactic, but then when you switch back, it won't change that to be the active tactic on the main screen. And then it won't do that in the game. So maybe make sure that the tactics I want to be there are actually there. I think they have to fix some side on the tactics side, but beyond that, it's been pretty solid. It's been a solid game, nothing crazy. Yeah.
Just smoothing out the rest of the gameplay stuff?
Yeah, smoothing out some of the stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You got any corners you want to hit?
Can we do a political corner real quick?
Heck yeah.
Not to end on a controversial note, but if there's one thing I've learned over the last couple of weeks is that, make no mistake, Sam is just a more locked in person than I am. He knows more about the political
I just
scene.
Read the New York Times email.
Hey, but that's knowledge. And I know I'm doing my best to try to catch up and stay in the know, especially for this election cycle as we get, and as we have votes now too, it's definitely more important to be in the know as what's going on. But can I float a couple questions at you? Some stuff I was thinking about for this upcoming stuff, because we do have a debate now on the horizon in September. But I was watching a video the other day, and this video goes back a couple weeks ago, but it was just like a short highlight from a video that Bryson DeChambeau did with Trump, where he did like a golfing video with him. And I remember they were like, I don't remember, the short was them just like in a golf cart. But I just remember looking at Trump and going, what, he's got to be as old now as Biden was when we elected him, right? They got to be very similar in age. So that means when, let's just say he wins, he gets in office in the course of the 4 years. Well, from an age standpoint, those would be the 4 years that Biden was in office, and we saw the decline in age from Biden. Why is the age thing not being talked about as an issue? Do you look at that as one of the issues? Because to me, I don't see why that's being brought up enough. But he's got to be the same age. I get there's like a different ferocity with him. Pause.
Yeah.
But, we're all still, human beings at the end of the day. To me, that's, especially after what we just saw from the presidency. We've always been conscious about, this goes back to Reagan too, about having older presidents. But like for us being newer in this and having witnessed it, it almost seems like a huge red flag. That's like, hey, maybe just the age thing alone is like a big enough thing to deter you away from going that direction when you actually have somebody who seems to be putting together like a really successful campaign on the other side and is just not going to run into those issues because of that big factor.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you mentioned, the velocity is a clear sign. I mean, Joe Biden has like a couple clips of him not being able to finish sentences. So,
But what I'm
you
saying
know.
is, like, where he is at now is where Biden was at when we elected him. So in 4 years, like, am I crazy to be like, have some caution because of the age thing if I was looking at voting on that side?
No, I mean, I think I'd have caution over the age thing. I mean, I think it's a legitimate concern. I just don't think it comes up because we haven't seen that decline yet. And, you know, people are gonna say, you know, maybe he doesn't have any decline, you know. Maybe
But did
there's
you
no
think
concern for
did
decline.
you think looking at Biden back then that was gonna I mean, because it was obviously like, yeah, he's gonna get
There's a
older,
little
but
bit.
is it was it
Like,
was it
he's been falling
way
down planes for
more?
a little bit.
True, he was stumbling even
You
back then.
know, yeah, I think there was some signs. Just him being physically not as ferocious as Trump.
But even if you
And
watch some of the stuff, you just watch some of the press conferences and stuff that he's doing now, you can just see, you know, even it's like, as you would expect, just a little bit down from where it used to be back in the day. Maybe some of that is strategic as well, too, but there is even a cohesion thing that, yeah, like you're saying, maybe it's not Biden level even to where it was back in the day, but it's like, oh, could this be something in 4 years where we're in a similar spot?
yeah, well, and I think there is, you know, obviously some what would I call it? There's a sense of delusion with the Trump fans that even if there were
Yeah.
signs of decline, they wouldn't care. I mean, there's definitely some very glorious ways that people see Trump, um, you know, pretty much as a savior and stuff. So it's just it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know what I mean, I don't know how much decline it would take from him for people to think
Mm,
that age is a serious factor. And, you know, someone would
that's a
just
good
call it
point.
like AI photos or something. So, you know, even if he did have decline, I don't think I mean, I don't think people are gonna not vote for him. I mean, he's literally a convicted felon and no one cares.
Have you
Like,
have you
like,
been did you watch any of the recent Harris campaign stuff at all?
a little bit. I saw her
She did a
talking about
rally.
like prices higher and stuff of food and stuff.
She did one in North Carolina earlier today, and then she did, I want to say, one in
Yeah.
Vegas either last
I
night or a
think
couple
Trump
days
was saying
ago.
some stuff too.
Yeah, and he's definitely been running, but I mean, there just seems to be, because even last cycle, like, if there was difference in the ages, like, it was still
Yeah.
two older candidates to the point where, I mean, now that there's like an actual, you know, younger candidate again in the mix, I guess even going back to the 16 election, like, Hillary was definitely, you know, I mean, she still was very clear and locked in, but she's an older
Yeah.
candidate at that point. The fact that there's actually somebody younger and you're watching sort of the Trump cohesion and where it's at and these press conferences, just been like a very striking dynamic, just about
Hmm.
how, you know, just charming and pleasant and simple that her demeanor is being presented in these
Yeah.
things versus where you can just kind of see that old person craze that we've been having to deal with the last couple elections.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense. I don't, it definitely is a welcome change that we don't have, that we don't have as much, you know, that we have a younger option for once, you know, and
Yeah.
not as, like you mentioned, old people craze. And some hope that we're not gonna just be the president won't be another old white man, you know.
Yeah.
That'd be a little someone different. So it is crazy because it does feel like some new headline is coming out every day. it definitely feels like Trump is grasping at straws in terms of what to attack Kamala with, because he doesn't really have a detailed plan. I mean, so far his tax plan, I guess, puts America in trillions more debt. So like Kamala not talking about it is kind of giving her a win, because like, it's not, it's not something, she hasn't yet shown her plan yet. I mean, hopefully she will soon, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because like we're in so much debt as a country, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And it's real concerning. It's real. I think like some companies might. I think, yeah. What is it? Warren Buffett has more bonds than the Treasury does.
Yikes.
Like I don't know what that means, but that doesn't sound good. I don't.
Yeah, we don't want a man to have more money than the country.
I may not be a financial advisor, but that doesn't sound great for a country's health, you know. And you can't, and then the talk of printing a $1 billion bill, like just imagine that existing.
What does that even
I think that
mean?
was some talk on Trump's.
How do you cash that?
Thank you. Like,
what do you do with
how's
that?
that even? Unsurprisingly, the print more money principle does not just work to pay off your debts, and never has and never will. So
I am a little confused about why, but yeah, you're right. It's apparently
printing more money does not equal paying off your debt. You can't just print a bill out, pay off your debt, and call it good. Here you go, $2 trillion bill. Problem solved.
We printed off this we're feeling generous, and we just rounded up. Here's a $10 trillion bill.
I mean, there's a country that did that called Japan, and now that's why the yen is in the dumpsters. It's just, yeah. Anyway, but I wanted to say Trump's plan so far to fix the tax and all that tax breaks is going to cost the country millions. And so far we haven't seen, I think trillions actually. And so far we haven't seen a plan from Kamala. So it'll be interesting to see as we get closer with the debate, which we're hopefully live watching, some solid, actual plans of how the country is going to be run, because no one wants to hear more taxes. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. That's the possibility of government, is everyone wants more stuff, but no one wants to pay for it.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate problem that we all have as people. But when I was just like looking at the personalities of these two candidates, that was the thing that was really surprising to me. Was it seemed like the Trump thing was and it still is like a force of personality, but
yeah,
like what is being presented right now is she has the better personality. Like the Trump thing just seems to be a little chaotic and all over the place. And I think that's, again, kind of the thing he's banking on for his campaign is just, I am Trump and people are on my side. And I mean, he's going to be he's going to be right to some degree, but I don't know if it's the same place that it was. Like, what do you think's different about now versus when he was running against Hillary, where the polls were saying, oh, it may be very favorable for Hillary, but then when we actually get to voting night, things turn out different. Like the vibe does feel a little different right now, even though, I mean, you could make the case that it could be the same similar thing.
Well, I think the difference is, one, people know actually what a Trump presidency means.
Yeah.
We know, we've lived through it. And part of it isn't Trump's fault. Give the man some credit. I mean, it was the pandemic. We did have a unprecedented,
of course,
world. Like, some of it wasn't Trump.
What are you gonna do?
But yeah, I know. But there was a lot of stuff that he did do, and that we're not going back. And shout out to Hillary Clinton. She tried her best. And to be honest, she won by a lot, by a million more votes, but just not in the right places. Shout out to people in California and other states, big states, not mattering. Their voices not mattering because of the Electoral College. But so this year, it's not only just that it feels like, a breath of fresh air that maybe it could be someone who is not a politician, as seen by, I mean, Kamala Harris is a politician, but she definitely gives the air of not one. But at least someone who is new to the political scene as a presidential candidate, and someone who's not a white man, and I think, person of color, it's definitely refreshing to see something different on the ballot. And also it's a new generation. She's part of a whole new generation. I mean, she's a millennial, I think, right? Is she
Whoa, the first millennial
Gen
president.
X?
You're right.
Millennial? Let me see. But and Hillary Clinton
She's not a
and
boomer.
Trump are pretty much the same generation.
They got to
So,
be in the same age. They were all going to each other's weddings and stuff back in the
Gen-
day. But speaking of old white men, another question I wanted to ask you was, and this is something that I'm trying
Generation
to.
Jones? The heck?
What's that?
Baby boomers? I don't know.
Geez, what generation?
It says true baby boomers. People are
Kamala
saying
Harris
Gen
is a
X.
boomer.
Oh, she was born a month away from being Gen X. So yeah, she's Gen X. She's not a millennial. She's one generation before this Gen X.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So just on the edge.
What are generations? Yeah, one generation before Generation X. So there's baby boomers 1946 to 1964, and then Generation X 1965 to 1975, 1979. But yeah, she definitely portrays herself as the Gen Xer. And that's like, for people at home, that's kind of like your older parents, your young grandparents, like, you know, that's pretty much like that's Generation Zoomers parents generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let me
40s,
see.
50s,
Yeah. Yeah.
in that range. But
Yeah, somewhere there.
what do you want to see like in a vice president person? Because like this is something that I'm trying to figure out too, just as you put the political pieces together. I just don't know
Yeah.
much about the choices from, really either side. I know definitely which one seems to be a little less crazy, but what do you see from what do you see from what do you is there are there things that you want specifically like from a vice president candidate,
A vice president candidate? I mean,
or
we
like,
know both of
vice
them,
president
right?
option? Like, yeah, but are there things that you want to see in specific at all?
I mean, someone who can be an actual president, because we've seen in the last couple of years. I mean, Joe Biden was President Obama's vice president candidate. Mike Pence, I think, would have been an interesting option if he didn't have such a falling out with Trump. But we've seen, what's her face? Hillary Clinton. Was she a vice president, or am I making that up? I think I'm making that up. But
She
she was a
was
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State, yeah.
Yeah, but
She may
we've
have
seen
ran
a
as a vice
couple.
president once.
Yeah, there's been a couple vice presidents who moved into the presidency role recently, with Joe Biden, and now with Kamala Harris moving from one to the other, as a presidential candidate. And there's I think there's some recently. Clinton, I don't know. Maybe I'm making stuff up, but there's some that,
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely
and tip
common.
and tongue, and they're often the party's presidential candidate that loses, or I think like Al Gore, he went, he had a run or two. So also shout out Kamala Harris. I did not know she was born in Oakland, from the town, went
Bay
to
Area.
UCSF law. Yeah, I know came out of the Bay Area, but I did not know she was from Oakland. But yeah, I think she. Yeah, I think the vice president has to be like someone who could seriously be the president. And I don't know if JD Vance got it, but seems like
No, we
his
definitely
opinion
know
on
we
people
definitely
changes
know
a
he
lot.
doesn't have it, but do you think Walls has it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, that one is where age comes into a little bit.
I know it's a little iffy.
Yeah, you're like, can he support a whole campaign on his own? But so far it seems great. Seems like a great guy, great Midwest guy. Seems like very down the middle. Feel
And
like
at
he's
least the
someone
fact that
who
she's like
both
so
sides
much,
can talk to.
she's like pretty, she is really young for a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
So that maybe, that
I
kind of
mean,
balances
she
out
went
too.
to she only had to win the Senate one time, like before she was a VP. Like
I mean, she's JJ Redick.
she definitely rose to the top really quick. As did JD Vance.
Yeah. I think JD Vance does a lot of things super quick, but I mean, that definitely helps out Walls that Vance is on the other side where it's like,
No, yeah, it does help him out a lot.
I think they're going to debate too.
Yeah.
Don't,
Oh, really?
yeah. I
That
don't know
makes sense.
what the dates are on that one, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's another reason to stay tuned to the Rem and Sam feed. We may be cooking up some special debate stuff. Who knows?
We'll do a
Stuff in the
debate. I
works.
don't know.
Are we debating?
We'll have to see. Maybe before football season starts around the corner.
Are there kickoff policies that you disagree with that I have?
Kickoff. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the new
Sam is,
kickoff stuff?
I was gonna say maybe I'll take an anti stance on the throw limit in UFA, and we'll have a big debate about it. But I don't know. I don't mind the new kickoff rule. It's a little
Really?
weird because it seems like you can kind of bring the kick out to like the 35, that 33, 35 yard range. So now the field has been shortened in kind of a weird way. But for the most part, I mean, it does, I do see like watching it how it is a lot safer. And again, the overall, I think, length of the return pause is pretty similar. I just think because of the landing zone and some of the stylistic stuff, it just brings the ball out further. But maybe, and to be honest, I've also like watched a lot of these games on mute because I think,
Yeah.
like the new JPEG Mafia album's a little bit better than the play-by-play than preseason game. We'll wait for the regular season. But so I'll need to see what the announcers say to really know what the rules are for this thing. But I don't mind it just watching it. It doesn't seem too bad. I'm not against it.
My question always is for historical sake, like, could Devin Hester still be a Hall of Famer with the current rules?
Yeah, I mean, I usually just tend to think that guys that figure out a way to be like great kind of in any situation, I'll usually give people the benefit of the doubt. I do get that there are certain things that, I mean, you look at like what we're saying with the NBA right now with post play, where certain guys, maybe with more post up skills might not be as beneficial in today's game just because of the way the spacing is. But I don't know, like you see the way like Embiid shoots threes now, like everybody seems to be able to figure it out. They're starting from things from younger age. So I don't know. I think Devin Hester does probably similar things if the kickoff rules are this, but maybe he's even better. Like we're saying, the kick out,
Who knows?
is it farther? You bring the ball farther out. Maybe
Yeah.
because of the less running starts, it's a little easier for him to navigate down the field. He's able to get more touchdowns. Maybe it actually helped him out. Maybe he played in the wrong era.
That's an interesting take. But that's always my question. Yeah. How much would people have to change? Because it's more for like the history stuff. Like I know it's not baseball. This is not baseball, but still want to keep some of the history stuff in there, some of the same records and all that, just so you can compare and contrast.
For sure. But I do think that the kickoff stuff is,
yeah.
I don't know. Is there super sacred kickoff records?
No, there's nothing super sacred. I mean, I do think, it is the most dangerous part of the game.
Yeah.
So I fully understand why.
And probably the least important when it comes to the entertainment aspect. So feels like a good
and
place.
Considering they get a quarter of the field if they kneel it, it's just smarter to kneel. Shout out the NFL promoting kneeling. Depends on when. Just depends on when, I guess.
How times have changed for the NFL. Didn't Kaepernick just get offered a job somewhere?
Yeah, he got a coaching job, but not this year with the Raiders. Or is that where Jim Harbaugh's at?
Not this year.
Are the Chargers? Not this year.
I also saw that he was trying to get on the flag football team for 2028.
Yeah. Who knows?
We're sending Arch Manning, buddy.
Yeah,
Can we get McCarthy healthy for then?
I don't think he's getting on the team, but who knows? Yeah, I don't think he's getting there, but who knows?
The thing is, Kaepernick is
JJ?
fast, so he can play defense if we need him to.
Put him outside on the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Running
Safety.
back.
Yeah, he's a weapon.
It's like, we got a spot for you, and it's not the one you think it is.
We have Kaepernick and Tebow. We have the most versatile team out there.
Tebow, yeah, he has played some snaps at tight end. I can't believe there was like a 2 week is Tebow coming back thing with the Jaguars. I mean, that's how we should have known Urban Meyer was really off his rocker.
When he's gonna bring Tebow back?
It's like maybe there's something here.
Maybe the Vikings are gonna do it now that McCarthy's down.
Trick play. Didn't they sign on Matt Corral?
I was seeing Brady rumors.
Oh my gosh. Brady's not coming back to play on 3-16, 3-13. Is it? Yeah, 3-13 Vikings team, man.
Jefferson? Addison? They got, you know.
Didn't Addison get hurt?
Yeah,
Addison got hurt. Yeah, they were saying like it was the worst hour of Vikings football or something. Like everyone got hurt. The other starter wide receiver got hurt. There was another one who got hurt.
As long as Sam Darnold stays standing, that's what counts.
Yep. Yeah. lead him to an NFC North berth. All right. Well, shout out to BETSTAMP. Shout out to Pura Vida. You know, go win some money on BETSTAMP.
And those are the only
buy
two
yourself some bling. Pura Vida and RP DRF Sportsbook. Honestly, thank you, DRF, for making us one of your last sponsors. We were honored to represent you. We really appreciate it. And shout out our other sponsors, still going strong. And make sure you come back on Tuesday. Rem will be doing the usual solo pod. Have some fuego takes for you. And make sure you check out the links. Support our sponsors so they don't go bankrupt, please. And
we don't want to see Pura Vida go down.
Dude. And we'll get ready for UFA playoffs next week. I'm finished watching the last week's one, and that Cascades Salt Lake Shred game it was crazy. So make sure you check out all the links and stay tuned.
Stay tuned because
next week
we're potentially working up some, like I said, some pretty crazy stuff. So just want to keep your eyes on it. That's all.
Keeping your eyes on it.